Was it a slow grind, like a slow, like oh shit, you know what? Like less people showing up, and then less listens, or did grunge kind of hit you like a side swipe and you didn't see it coming? Not just you, but the overall genre. Because I'm like in between there in terms of age, but I'm just wondering what your perspective was on that transition from kind of hairband to the grunge.
Well, no one saw it coming, but I was already dead and semi-buried before grunge hit. Twisted, arrived in the early '80s, and then we hit our stride in the mid '80s, and by the late '80s, the band had broken up, and I had a band called Desperado that got shelled by Elektra Records. A lot of money was spent on that record, but I was sort of already removed as a featured artist by that point, and I was struggling trying to find my footing with Desperado, and then Widowmaker, and then grunge hit, and then I got the letter in the mail, certified letter. Dear Mr. Snider, we are no longer doing what you do. We don't look like you, sound like you, sing like you, write like you, perform like you. We actually don't want anything to do with anything you ever did. Sincerely, the music buying public. And that's when the bottom really fell out, where you can't, imagine being a doctor who studied a form of medicine that they found a cure for. Like you're a cancer specialist. Specialist is what you dedicate your life to, and they get a pill that cures tomorrow. You're out of work. Grunge cured hair metal. So, and I was out of work.
Wow. So now that you were on the bottom, riding the bike to work, but still had some fame, how did you reignite that spark and get back on track financially with your celebrity and kind of building yourself back up? How did you do it, D?
It's interesting. I saw a business magazine article about branding, and they cited me as a great example of branding. Yeah, and they went through my whole career and how I, I sort of rose up, from where I had been and established my name and applied it to whether it's films or radio or everything I've done. You'll see D. Snider name, and I'm reading the article. I go, that's fantastic. If only it was true. It was no plan. I always tell people it was 10% inspiration and 90% desperation. You wake up that day, you realize you have 3 kids, you have no income. I had one year I had $0 income, zero on my tax return, 2 bankruptcies. And like you said, what can I do? And basically it's just say yes to everything. Want to answer phones at a desk job? Yes. You want to manage a recording studio? Yeah, I'll do that. You want to work with a toy company? And yes, I'll do that. And somebody said, you got a good voice, so you could do voiceover. I'll do that. So I started, going out on auditions, and now I have a career in voiceover. You'd be good on radio. Yes, I'll do that. Sunday nights, broadcasting the fish, as they used to say, midnight to 2 a.m., midnight to 1 a.m. on a local radio station. That's where I started doing radio 30 years ago. But now I'm, a 6-figure radio guy, and I've been doing it for decades. So, but it was no grand plan. It was just like any opportunity I had, I just said yes to. If it was ability, it might lead to money to pay the bills and to feed my kids and my family.
Well, you know what? We all love a good comeback story. But one of the things that I found interesting, though, is you held on to the catalog for a while. So you had the catalog during that time. It just wasn't harvesting, correct? So, was that the case? I still think at this point you had your catalog, correct? You owned your catalog, right?
By the time I went to the second bankruptcy, and the second bankruptcy was not me, by the way, it was my wife, because when you're married, you can't take certain things from your wife. So she gets some things, aspects, because you had children and